All right, so we got our parts in from the fine folks at Fromel Electronics. Look at that. So I'm excited. I went ahead and I started tearing the amp down. This is fairly simple. It was actually easier to do it on this amp than my Hot Rod Deluxe. You know the deal. It's just, the nuts and washers on the front panel and screws on the main board, pull it out. I definitely want to start out by saying, if you do not feel comfortable modding your amp, don't do it. I suggest very strongly you take this to a tech, spend a couple of $100. You know it's going to get done right the first time, and if there's ever an issue, those guys know exactly where to look, and they will resolve your problems fairly quick. So this is not an amp you want to practice soldering and unsoldering on. These boards are very finicky. Okay, and one thing instructions will not tell you is you got to be really careful with the wires that connect to the boards. So see right here, this is the front panel potentiometers. All these little black wires came off. Now I know where they go, because they can only go in one spot. See that one right there? See this one right here goes to the input jack board. Right there on the corner. Same thing with the vibrato. You can tell that one goes right there. But all these came apart. We actually lost a couple of white ones too, but they go right there. So I was going to reflow the solder on those connections anyway. But that's pretty much it. If you feel confident and you feel you can tackle it, then, the rest of it is also just quick connects. You can mark them with a Sharpie. All I do is I take pictures, and then if I get in trouble, I refer back to the schematic. But if you have trouble reading schematics, just take as many pictures, even video, that you can. And that's almost as good as having somebody tell you where stuff goes. But again, if you don't feel comfortable, please take your amp to a tech. I strongly recommend it, especially if you feel like you're going to keep your amp for quite a while. This is one amp. Also, I have to make note that for whatever reason, they wired this standby on the negative side of the filter capacitors. So if you take the filter capacitors, the cover of the housing for the filter capacitors off, make sure you discharge every single one of those filter capacitors. It's part of the design. I don't know why they did it, but, they did it that way. God forbid you put your fingers on one of the tubes and next thing you know, you get zapped. You're probably not going to die, but it's going to suck. So yeah, I have a short on how to solder and unsolder on these boards. Please go check that out. And I'm excited. It's late at night. I'm really not going to do any more work because I'm getting tired. But tomorrow we're going to get into putting all this stuff back in and back together. I love these Fromel kits. I've already done a Pro Junior, a Hot Rod Deluxe, 5E3, and a couple of pedals with their kits. And the instructions they provide with pictures, worth every single penny of that mod kit. So I really suggest you guys, if you're going to do this, go ahead and hit up Fromel Electronics and get your kits from them. It's well worth it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with the video on how to put this thing back together. We're going to do an initial test, and then we'll see if we go a little bit further, rewiring these tube sockets and making a couple of other mods, maybe to the power supply, negative bias, add a couple of probes. That'd be cool. Move these switches. But anyways, that's a sneak peek. Hopefully you guys can stick around. Thanks.